Time to talk San Antonio business now in this week's business briefing with Greg Jefferson, business editor and columnist with the San Antonio Express News. We're talking business in case anyone didn't catch the half a dozen times that I just said that there. So let's talk about the economic forecast, first of all, for 2020. You had a great write-up on this.
Yeah, we've had an overload of economic forecasts, as we do every January. I make a little joke in my column about how economic forecasters, they spend 11 months basically in their bathrobes, reading stuff, watching TV, talking with industry sources and gossiping among themselves. And then in January, it's like showtime, and they're on. So this year, it looks like we are not in for an economic apocalypse. So that's
okay.
Good.
That's
we can barring anything crazy on the trade and tariff war front, job growth will continue apace. It ended the year. We have the latest numbers as of November, and they were about job growth rate of 2.8%, if I'm not mistaken, 2.4, 2.8, which is healthy job growth. It's not great. It's probably not quite keeping up with our population growth, but you know what we've seen of San Antonio's job growth history, it's pretty good.
Okay.
And there's no reason to think that that won't continue into the new year. So we're not going to have anything, you know, the jobs numbers aren't going to fall off the cliff, but they're probably not going to go sky high either. There's no reason to think that suddenly we'll have employers just creating jobs hand over fist. One of the reasons is because we still have an ultra low unemployment rate of 3.1%, which is an historic low, and that tells you that employers are going to have a hard time finding qualified, skilled workers. There just aren't that many available.
Because they're employed.
Right, they're employed, right.
We traditionally have a low hourly wage and lack of education.
Yeah, exactly. So those are going to be problems that will be with us for years to come. And really, education is the heart of it all, is at the heart of it all. Only when we have much better high school graduation rates and rates of students attaining, you know, at least an associate's degree, only at that point will we see wages raise significantly. Over the last decade, we've seen the average wage in San Antonio trail both the state and national averages. The national average by quite a bit. It's, you know, about $2 or $3 and a little over $1 for the state average. So we're pretty far behind.
And another good point, really not looking ahead, looking back to 2019 in that column, was the top industry for job growth.
Yeah, exactly. And this was crazy. I mean, the construction industry grew by 15%.
Wow.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, it's not surprising when you look around the city at all the construction projects.
Look at the cranes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, they're all employing dozens and dozens of people. The problem is that the average hourly wage is about between $15 and $16 an hour, and the citywide average is about 23. So these are not great paying jobs.
Let's talk about another big announcement for San Antonio business from Toyota. They're going to do a shuffle in production here. So Tacoma going away, Sequoia coming in.
Right. So Toyota has been they've been all about news that is neither great news nor terrible news.
Just kind of right
news.
Down the middle.
It's like it's like, hey, we've got some news for you. And so last week, the news was that they are bringing the production of their Sequoia SUV to San Antonio. Other side of that is that they are moving the Tacoma production, this is their midsize truck, to Mexico.
And now Tacomas, they are incredibly high-selling vehicles.
Oh yeah. So that's another whole layer of this good news, bad news thing.
Right.
So Tacoma is the top seller in the midsize pickup truck category. It's a great product for San Antonio. It feeds into our cultural identity and all that stuff. The Sequoia, on the other hand, is, it's only number 9 among top-selling SUVs in the country. They sold, I think, something around 10,000 units last year. that's not great.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're moving.
Entire year, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you're moving kind of a lower selling SUV into the facility, moving a high selling mid-sized truck to Mexico. Yet, I mean, Toyota does say that they're going to maintain their workforce, so no job cuts, and that they expect the volume to pick up as Sequoia production takes off. And kind of behind the scenes, we're hearing, you know, there are hopes, at least among local government officials, that at some point, you know, Toyota will introduce an entirely new model, whether it's a truck or SUV model, and that you know, San Antonio's plant will have a good chance at producing it.
So the Tacoma production, that's not going to stop anytime soon. We still
no.
have another year
That's
or so
right.
before
That's right.
that stops.
Yeah, all of this is, you know, they're going to wind down Tacoma production by the end of 2021.
Okay.
And then they'll ramp up Sequoia production in early 2022. So it's basically going to be a handoff. But you know, I mean, Toyota is really good at keeping their workers busy. We'll, you know, retool the line for the Sequoia. There will be training. They'll be kept busy.
So let's talk about another interesting aspect that you guys have covered at the Express News. USAA annual bonuses dropping this year. You point out it's not a dramatic drop, but it's yet another drop.
Tiny drop. Yeah, and let me say first of all, this is the second year in a row that our story on the USAA annual bonus made the front page of the Express News. What's the interest? Well, here's the interest. How many of you get bonuses? Not that many. Maybe, yeah, like not that many. We love to live vicariously through USAA workers. I mean, the fact of the matter is that an overwhelming majority of employers in San Antonio are small businesses, and quite often these companies, they just don't have the wherewithal to provide bonuses, and we just don't have that many large corporate employers. So it's unusual to see bonuses of this size, and USA has been fairly open with us about the size of the bonus, what goes into it. What they don't say is how their workers spend all that money. I mean, you know,
Of
they're either
course, sure.
it's like dream vacations,
Yeah.
credit card. You know, I probably do credit card payments, halvesies, maybe do half paying off debt, half dream vacation. I don't know. But yeah, so this year the percentage declined somewhat. It was, I believe, it was 14.8 in 2018. The bonus for 2019 dropped just a bit to 14.5, I believe, 14.4, 14.5. The company isn't saying why that is, but it's not easy to kind of extrapolate. We know that they had a number of really severe weather events last year. These are realities that USA is having to deal with, and that in some way is going to play into whatever their bonus is on any given year. And I think that's what we're saying.
In the why should we care category, there's just a curiosity
Well,
about
I mean,
the structure.
You know,
it's
I
a
was
huge
trying
employer in San Antonio.
It is, yeah. So it is one of the top employers. They employ 19,000 San Antonio area workers. So we've got that little fig leaf that we can say, well, that's why we're interested. But it's really about, you know, we all kind of like playing the fantasy game of what would happen if I got 14.5% of my annual salary in one lump sum. What would I do with that money? And I think that's a lot of the interest. Really, we just kind of want to know. You know, we want to have that fantasy for ourselves. You know. So.
And so now we do.
So now we do.
All
You
right.
got it.
Thanks, Greg.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks a lot.